There are 7 kamay in this system. With each one of these postures, there are associated movements and fundamental basics within each one of those movements. In this review and in the workshop, we looked at one with each kamay. I'm going to slow it down and I'm going to do this training solo so that you can do it along with me if you don't have a training partner. If you do have a training partner, of course, you can do it with them. The first of the kamay is called Seigan no kamay. And while Seigan meaning a direct line to the face or to the eyes, this kamay means to freely handle or manipulate your opponent. Seigan no kamay is a position where the tip of the sword becomes a barrier or an obstacle between you and your opponent. Fundamentally, the line of the sword is directed upward and at their eyes. You want to have about a 40-60 weight distribution between your legs, favoring the rear leg, and the rear foot is turned back at a 135-degree angle. When you're holding the sword, it's not in front of the navel. Rather, it's aligned with the lead foot, and the tip of the sword is pressing at your opponent's eyes. The feeling when you're in this posture is to freely manipulate or to handle or freely handle or manipulate your opponent. And you want to have intention from your head, from your eyes, to your stomach, to the tip of the sword. And that triangle is creating forward pressure into your opponent through the tip of the sword. Now, when we say to freely handle or manipulate your opponent, consider this. Subtle influences with the tip of the sword will motivate your opponent to come in and attack in certain ways. When the tip of the sword is pressing their eyes, if I open it slightly to my right, your left, it's going to motivate you to come in this direction. If I shift to the other direction, it's going to motivate you to come in on my right side. So if I shift to the left, very subtly, I'm doing it big so you can see right now. But in training, you want this movement to be very, very subtle. As you do this, I open to my left, you're going to be motivated to come in and attack on this side. If I lift the tip of the sword, it's going to expose more of the lower portion of my body, and you're going to see more surface here, motivating you possibly to come in and attack low. And then, of course, if I drop the sword here, it's going to motivate you to want to come in and attack to a higher position on me. And this is what we mean by to freely handle or to manipulate your opponent, to guide their subconscious into certain decisions on how they're going to attack. And when you're able to define that, and when you're able to motivate them to attack you in a certain way, then you're able to step into a countering maneuver much, much easier and more naturally. So this is Seigan no kamay, and it's very important that you understand this. During the workshop, I stopped here, and I want to express a very important principle. There are 2 critical mistakes that people make when they begin training the kamay. The first, in our dojo, we call is settling, which is when someone goes to their kamay, they take lots of steps and micro adjustments to find the posture. Now, what this is a lot of unnecessary movement. It lacks efficiency, and it creates a lot of openings and weaknesses. You're constantly uncomfortable and you feel as though you sort of have to settle into your position. And as you're doing that, and if you get used to doing that and make that a habit, then it's going to be very easy for someone to come in and counter because you'll be doing that. It's really important at this point when you're training the kamay that you transition from one intention to another with immediacy. During the workshop, I gave a pretty extreme example of you leaving a movie with your partner or friend. And the 2 of you just watched a really funny movie, and you're reflecting on the movie, and you're laughing together, and you're basically just having a great time as you're walking out to the car. Suddenly, someone comes from behind the car, and they have a firearm, and they put it to your friend's head. Well, just imagine that extreme example and how fast your intention shifts. No longer are you laughing and having a fun time talking about the movie. And you're certainly not going to look at the person with a firearm and say, hold on a second, we're having a good conversation. Let us just wrap it up here, and then you can do your thing with the gun. No, what happens is your intention completely shifts, and you go to an entirely different mindset. You don't settle into that. This is a very, very important thing for you to understand, because this is what kamay really, truly is. It's the language of the body that you're not only putting out, but you're also manifesting within. Kamay without this is not kamay. It's not just striking different postures, or sometimes I hear or I see on YouTube moving from one thing to another. Kamay is alive and all this stuff. I don't quite understand that, but the position of the body and the mindset and the language that the body is expressing and the use of the body's position tactically and technically is critically important, and it is everything. It's the foundation of what we're studying here. The next common mistake is what's called setting. And this is where we take excessive movement or larger movement that is necessary to go into the posture. And I'm going to exaggerate here just so you understand, but it would be something like this. That's a lot of unnecessary movement, or maybe when you go here, you bring the sword around and you go into the kamay to maybe make it look cooler or something. I don't know. But any extra movement that's needed as you're going into the kamay is you're setting something in a place, and you're just taking large excessive movement that's not necessary. What you want to do with each kamay is go the shortest distance from between 2 points with maximum efficiency and accuracy. These two things are really important. Eliminate or limit the amount of settling that you do into each kamay, and don't set yourself into kamay. Rather, go point to point as efficiently as possible. Let's finish up Seigan no Kamay and look at this, the actual posture one more time. Now let's look at the actual form behind this technique, and we'll train it together. In Seigan no Kamay, the feeling is that your opponent is going to come in and knock your sword to your right side. And then from there, they're going to cut do. So their movement is going to be to come forward, knock the sword, and enter, cutting across the body. Your counter to this movement is going to be advance forward with the left foot, bringing the sword up over your right shoulder. Then from here, you're going to pivot on the lead foot as you enter into a cross step, as they move around you, attempting to do the cross cut to the body. What's important is the tip of the sword here stays at about the height of your knee. You're not coming in and lifting the sword up high over your head in an overhead block, but rather you're keeping the left arm straight, bending the knees, and keeping the entire side of your right side of your body guarded. As they do this cross cut, you then move behind them, bringing the sword over the head, cutting down and stepping into the cut. Now, the footwork here needs to be quick. You need to move like a bug running across the floor. So very quick and nimble. But before you get there, don't worry about the speed. Worry about your form. And that's what's most important right now. So again, from this angle, the sword is attempted to be knocked to my right side. As that happens, I keep my hands in front of my body. I don't let my hands come to the side with their force. Rather, the sword moves 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Now to this angle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. And this is the first of the Kihon Gata with Seigan no Kamay.